Once again, the key takeaways are to make sure that you turn the heat to low. When you turn it to low, it works out a little bit better. We're watching here for the bubbles, and the bubbles is the sign to go ahead and turn it over. I want to see more bubbles, in that way that I know that it's really well done and it's ready. You can never be too anxious. And so I see a few bubbles over there. This is how nicely they're looking. These are the ones that are finished over there. Really tasty, quick, easy. Once again, I turn the heat down, and when the heat is turned down, it makes it much easier to flip over. It kind of sticks together, and this little spatula here is the really key gift to make it easy for you to use. One really helpful strategy is using this spatula that I got. I got this over at Target. It was about $15, and it really makes it easy to go ahead and flip these over, because as I was using the pancake flipper, it was a bit tough. So this is the item you want to get for about $15, and it's really worth the weight in gold. This is what the finished pancakes look like, and I went ahead and took the excess off, so I'm going to sit and wait for these to go ahead and bubble. It might be a little slower, but we don't want them to burn. Let's stay tuned. Notice how they're going ahead and bubbling here. This is a sign that they are ready to be turned. Take this, and we flip it over, and we see that nice brown side. We're going to put this one over here, and you just flip it over. Throw this one over here, and you go ahead and fold it over here. Notice here I have a plate or a pie tin that I've gone ahead and made sure that I can put my pancakes here, and I'm going to fold it over, and that way you get to go ahead and take some of the grease off, and you just kind of watch it until it seems like it's pretty well done. I'll go ahead and test it with this, and we see that's there, so it looks like it's brown there. And I'll just go ahead and flip it over to make sure the other side gets nice and done. There we go. That one looks like it's ready to go. And we'll put it in there. And we have this one right here. Go ahead and flip it over. Having fun getting this. Let me go ahead and pause for a quick second. Okay, so next thing, we're going to take a spoon. We're going to go ahead and drop it into the pan here. I want to make sure that they're not too close together to make them easier to flip. And like I said, the key is waiting for them to bubble. Bubble is the time where you go ahead and you turn them over. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and watch them go ahead and cook. Watch them go ahead and cook. But we're nice medium heat, because if you cook them too fast, they go ahead and burn on the other side. It's also important that you get a plate that you're going to go ahead and put them on. So let me go ahead and pause and get that plate there for us. Good morning. Today I'm going to show you how to make some pumpkin pancakes. The first thing you do is you have two bowls. Here's one bowl, and here's the second bowl. You take a cup of flour. I am using whole wheat flour. I'm going to go ahead and dump that in. Put the whole wheat flour in. Then you're going to take a teaspoon of baking powder. Put that in. Next, we're going to take a teaspoon of baking soda. All right. It calls for whole spice, pumpkin spice. And so what I'm going to do is I have some nutmeg here, I have some cinnamon, and I have some allspice. And I really like my things really flavored. And so anyhow, we had a little accident there and it came flying down. So we're gonna go ahead and try that again. So we're gonna take a quarter teaspoon of allspice, quarter teaspoon of allspice, put that in there, a quarter teaspoon of nutmeg, and this is how you get away with not having the pumpkin pie spice. And you have a quarter teaspoon of that, which is the nutmeg. You're also going to take, it's optional to have 1 tablespoon of monk sugar, or sugar, it's optional. And so we will go ahead and put a tablespoon of this in, tablespoon of that. And next it says that you whisk the dry ingredients together. There was a whisk here and it went boo-boo eyes. It fell on the floor. So we have the whisk here. Here's the whisk. And we're gonna go ahead and whisk these items together. Okay, whisk that together. Now, in a separate bowl, you are going to add 3/4 cup of milk. You're going to add 1 egg. And a teaspoon of vanilla. We're going to go ahead and whisk it before we go ahead and add in the pumpkin, which is about a 1/2 cup of pumpkin. Just whisk this together. And then you're going to add in your pumpkin. When I take my pumpkin, I go ahead and cook it in the oven. Really a simple process. You take the whole pumpkin, you divide it in half, you take all the seeds out, you cook the pumpkin at 350 for I think it's 20 to 25 minutes. Make sure it's nice and soft. When it's, you go ahead and you coat it with olive oil, just a little bit of olive oil, and you know, you might want to put some cinnamon and nutmeg on it. And then what I do is I take the pumpkin, I cut it up, I use my food processor and I chop it up and I put it in little containers so I can have pumpkin all times of the year, not just in the fall time. And so I'm going to put this in here. And then next what you do is you go ahead and you mix the wet ingredients to the dry ingredients. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to pour it in here. I like to pour a little bit, mix it up. And then I'm going to pour another little bit, mix it up. Pour a little bit, mix it up. I'm gonna make sure I get the sides. And these are really delicious muffins. They're really super easy.